Continuing our reading of Homestuck High, Chapter 3. John and Rose were in a field holding hands and kissing. They were alone and the sun was high in the sky. High as me, motherfucker. Rose was in a long white dress and a sun hat, and John was chasing her through corn and sunflowers. He felt happy. She spun around and her silken gown brushed against the corn as she ran backwards in slow motion. John went to grab her, but she moved out of the way and he stumbled over a giant cliff and fell into darkness. John, a voice boomed as he hit the floor. I am the dark genie of Precipice Oreada. Thunder boomed. You and your friends are in grave danger, she said. What do you mean? John said. He didn't want any harm to come to Rose, so he was worried since they hadn't had sex yet. Jade is pregnant with the son of a devil, Aradia bombed as more thunder struck loudly. And Rose is next. O-M-G, John giggled. You must destroy the damned incubus of the Nigda when the moon is full and spill his blood onto Jade and make her drink it so it kills the Baba, Ariada proclaimed. But who is the incubus? John demolished as he clenched his fists. Aradia growled. You must find out for yourself, John. Unlash the power from within, and do not let the demon taunt your Rose or she will wilt. She handed him 2 plastic horns. When you put these on, you will turn into my faithful demon slayer, Eridan, she magistrated. He will serve you well. Okay, John said, and he woke up. Oh, you're okay, Rose said, and she hugged John. What happened? John elaborated as Dave hugged him next. Dave raged. Dark magic came out of your McDonald's burger and found its way to your soul. How? John demanded. We don't know yet. We do not yet know, Tarvos clemenced. We think that by eating it, it disrupted the forces within your purities. Oh my God, John said seriously. The next day at school, the group sat in a dark corner away from everyone else as they tried to think what happened to Joan. But John knew that deep down there was a demon after Rose's ovaries. He couldn't bear the thought of his love falling to such a trap. Maybe it was just food poisoning, Pfeffery helped. No, my legs began to shake with a need I have long forgotten when I saw the black aroma, Tavros said. Where are Jade? Rose asked. Dave began to cry onto Tarvos' shoulder. John had a feeling in his gut that this was not a God sign. It was a Satan sign. She cheated on me with a college guy, he moaned into Tavros. He was so upset. OMG, Dave, Briska purred as she pulled his face into her boobs. Dave cried into them instead. John, we need to talk, Rose announced. Okay, John said. They got up and went to a private part of the school where no one could see or hear them. John had a feeling that he would be getting lucky, as some people call it, but he knew he had to be careful. He couldn't risk getting his Rose pregnant, or the consequences would be fatality. John, Rose moaned. Will you be my boyfriend? Okay, John said. So will you have sex with me then, since that's what people do when they go out? Rose said. John could not resist those gigantic bosoms in that tight school top were begging him to rip it right off here and plant his seeds deep inside her. But he had to control himself or things would get bad. I do not know, Rose, John manifested. Maybe we should wait. I am tired of waiting for you, John. I want you to put it in me now. Rose did not need to say more. John teared open the girl's school shirt and her boobies came springing out in a wave of bounciness. They were like those bouncy balls, only they were softer. He ripped off her skirt and looked at her panties. There was water already dripping from her panties and her thighs were wet. He took off his trousers and then ripped her panties into 2, feeling how wet they were between his hands. More water began leaking out of her flower while she moaned. She took off her bra and then pulled out John's hard member and pressed it against her sacred area.
"Put it in me, Johnny," she cried loudly. "Okay," John said, and he put his shaft into her tight hole. It was hot and wet inside. She began orgasming and making sexual, animal-like noises. "Ooh! Aha! Aha! Oh, John. Pull it in a little deeper." "Oh, yeah," Rose exclaimed. She clawed at his back like a tigress in heat, and John continued to deflower his sweet Rose. I see what you did there." He already felt close to consummating their love with his seed. He could feel the water flowing out of her and onto the floor beneath them. It made him want to drink it all up and feed it to her. He could not control himself any longer, and they felt close to and they came together in one giant orgasm. "John," she moaned as he came deep within her cavern, her flower oozing with the white liquid as he pulled out of her. "No, John, Rose," Jade's loud cry mewled. They turned their sweaty heads to see Jade struggling into the grasp of a man who looked more evil than any other man they had seen. His aura emitted a dark energy that made the clouds come together and boom lightning.
"Now that Rose has been given the seed, I can plant my spawn," the evil man yelled.
"Sullix, it has been a while." Tarvos trembled as he, Pfeffery, Dave, Risk, and Gamzee all came running up to the area. "John, use the power of my Demon Slayer to help Jade," John heard her
"John, use the power of my Demon Slayer to help Jade,"
John heard Radia's voice call. He reached into his pockets and pulled out the plastic coins and stuck them onto his head. He felt himself morphing into a different being until he was no longer John, but a purple-capped man with thick-rimmed glasses.
"Sullix,"
John's now deep Aridin voice boomed. "It's time to duel!" Oh my god. Oh my god. This is so good. So good.